Smoke fills a passenger plane 10 kilometers in the sky.
We're on Mayday. We're going down.
Electrical systems fail as the smoke gets worse. What seemed like a small problem at first has become a life or death struggle for everyone on board Air Canada 797. Early evening, June 2nd, 1983. Supper time aboard Air Canada Flight 797. The jet is in the middle of a flight from Dallas, Texas to Toronto. The DC-9 is only half full today, with 41 passengers scattered throughout the plane.
Can I have some tea, please?
Just before 7 o'clock, the plane is a little more than halfway to Toronto.
What was that? It's right there, I see it. Right there. Yeah.
3 circuit breakers have popped out. Like fuses, they protect delicate electrical circuits on the plane from becoming overloaded.
Like a machine gun.
Yeah. Zap, zap, zap.
The 3 breakers are for the flushing motor in the toilet at the rear of the plane. Cameron decides to give them a few minutes before he tries to reset them again. Flight attendants Laura Kayama and Judy Davidson are busy serving up dinner in the cabin. At the back of the plane, one of the passengers complains about a disturbing odor.
Yeah, that is a strange smell. Let me take a look.
A wisp of smoke is leaking out of the washroom. Chief Flight Attendant Sergio Benetti is in charge of the flight crew. The smoke is noxious and overpowering. Benetti can't see any flames, but he sprays the fire extinguisher all over the tiny washroom, trying to coat every surface. It's 2 minutes past 7, just 11 minutes since the circuit breakers first popped out. Laura Kayama brings Captain Cameron the disturbing news.
Excuse me, Captain. There's a fire in the washroom in the back. They just went back to go put it out.
A fire on board an aircraft is one of the worst situations any crew can face. The plane is some 10 kilometers high. What starts as a spark can turn deadly in a few short minutes. But at the moment, Cameron doesn't know how bad the situation is.
Okay. Can't get back there. Smoke's too heavy. I think we'd better go down.
He'll have to land the plane immediately before the small inconvenience becomes a deadly problem. Wisps of smoke are gathering at the back of the DC-9. An acrid smell is spreading through the cabin. When suddenly, he's got a new problem. The master warning light is on. Electrical systems throughout the plane, including some in the cockpit, begin to fail. Cameron calls the nearest ground control.
Memphis Center, this is Air Canada 797.
Air Canada 797, Indianapolis Center. Go ahead.
Yeah, we've got an electrical problem here. We may be off communication shortly. Stand by.
I think we'd better go down. We're going to be making an emergency descent. Brief the cabin crew soon.
But as soon as they make the decision, another warning light goes on. They've just lost most of their emergency power.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
A small problem has snowballed into an all-out emergency.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
This is Louisville Control, over.
Air Canada 797, we have a fire on board. We are going down.
Can you possibly make Cincinnati?
Roger that.
Cincinnati is 46 kilometers away. Captain Cameron begins an initial descent to 1,500 meters. An acrid, bitter smoke is creeping forward from the back of the plane and seeping in from the seams in the ceiling. It hangs like a cloud over the passengers' heads. The smell of burning plastic fills the air. As smoke begins entering the cockpit, the captain's situation is becoming critical. For the first time, we met talks to the Cincinnati airport.
Approach Air Canada 797. We're on Mayday. We're going down.
Gregory Karam is the approach tower controller. He's the lifeline for the struggling jet.
Air Canada 797, you are now fully identified.
This will be a no-gyro radar approach for runway 27 left. Descend now to 3,500 feet.
Your position is now 12 miles southeast of the airport.
In the cabin, the smoke and heat are becoming unbearable. Through the growing smoke, the crew finally spot the airport.
Okay, we have the airport.
The tower has you in sight.
You're cleared to land.
From the outside, Air Canada Flight 797 seems like any other. But on the inside, 46 people are fighting for their lives. Up front, Captain Donald Cameron can't afford to be distracted by what's going on in the cabin. He needs to concentrate on bringing down the plane as quickly as possible. Squinting through the smoke, the crew of Flight 797 land hard. At 20 minutes after 7, the Air Canada plane is on the ground. It's less than 40 minutes since the first sign of any trouble on board the jet. Passengers are trying desperately to escape. Sergio Benetti is the first one to the door. He helps gasping passengers out. In the cockpit, the crew quickly shut the plane down. First officer we met uses the emergency window. On the ground, Laura Kayama and Judy Davidson frantically move passengers away from the deadly plane. Fire trucks surround the jet. Through the cockpit window, we can see Captain Cameron sitting in his seat looking dazed and slumped towards the wheel. Desperately trying to save the captain's life, we tells firefighters to cover him with foam. It works. Cameron stirs. Barely conscious, he climbs out through the cockpit window. Barely 90 seconds have passed since Flight 797 landed, when suddenly the whole interior ignites. The flames roll through the cabin like a train. Captain Donald Cameron is the last person to escape. 23 people didn't escape the plane. Black smoke can be seen for kilometers. Flight attendant Laura Kayama begins to count. Including the crew, there were 46 people aboard the plane. But there aren't 46 people on the runway. The passengers who escaped the plane have suffered from smoke inhalation and minor injuries, but most are not badly hurt. What began with a simple electrical problem has taken the lives of 23 people. Captain Cameron and his crew eventually received 6 separate awards for their heroic actions on Flight 797, including recognition from the Royal Canadian Air Force. But they're still haunted by the nightmare.
It's just a shame we didn't get everybody off. still bothers me.